Hello and welcome to Relatively Crafty, a knitting podcast. I'm your host, Christy. I come to you from the Denver area of Colorado, where I live with my husband, Ron, our two daughters, Tatum and Delaney, our tuxedo kitty, Lilu, and our Podengo puppy, Sophie. And welcome. How are you all enjoying your quarantine? It is currently Saturday, April 4th. I basically have left my house maybe once a week to go to the grocery store to buy food for my family, and that is it. I'm doing all of my working from home, and my husband is doing his working from home. Our kids are doing school from home. We are all just from home. The dog thinks it's amazing. She thinks that this is the best thing that's ever happened because it means that we are home all the time. And the cat thinks it's terrible because we're never gone. But, you know, it is what it is. So this is a knitting podcast. I'm going to talk about knitting and maybe some life stuff. You might notice I am looking a little disheveled today. That is because since I started working from home, I haven't put any stuff in my hair. I haven't put any makeup on my face because I'm not leaving the house. I'm not feeling a need to get dolled up. I shower regularly, and I basically go around the day like this. And it's wonderful. I don't mind wearing makeup, and I don't wear a lot of it, but it is nice not to have to worry about that. I can rub my eyes without worrying about stuff coming off on my hands, and I can run my fingers through my hair. I am a hair toucher, and so it's nice to be able to touch it and know that I'm not messing it up any more than it already is. So, yeah. I thought about putting on makeup to podcast today, but I figured y'all didn't care. You were going to accept me the way that I am, and this is the way that I am today. I am wearing some knitwear, though, which I don't often wear in my podcasts, mostly because I run warm, and so it's normally too warm inside the house or it's too warm inside the house to wear knitwear. However, we've been trying to get some fresh air in here, so as often as possible we have the windows open, and it's been chilly. We got some snow the other day. It's melting quickly, but it has snowed 3 times, I think, since we went into quarantine in the middle of March. And so basically 3 times in the past 3 weeks. And while it has melted within a day or two, it's still rather chilly. I think it's like 50 degrees outside, and with all the windows open, there's a breeze, and it's just a little cool inside. We were watching a movie while we were eating our lunch because what else are you going to do on a Saturday when you can't leave the house? So we were sitting and watching a movie, and I got chilly, so I put my sweater on. So this is my scrappy hippo sweater. And I am so glad that I finished this when I did, because this is exactly what I wanted it for. I wanted to be able to have something to wear around the house to just kind of feel snugly warm in, and that is exactly what it is. I've been wearing it a lot lately because even on the days when it's gotten up into the 60s and 70s, it can still be pretty cool inside the house, and I'm sitting and doing my work at my impromptu desk, which is the dining room table, and this has been very comfortable to wear. So I've been really enjoying it. If you are not familiar with this pattern, it's not actually a pattern, but with this project, I should say, because I just basically, I think I took the starting numbers from Hokey Locatelli's basic DK Raglan something, and then just kind of went with it. I've taken all of the leftovers from my hippo for the holidays socks and projects that I made out of Lolo Did It plush sock for 2 years, 2017 and 2018, put them all together in 2019 and made a sweater. I held it double to make a DK weight sweater, and so I've got different colors throughout the sweater. And yeah, I absolutely love it. So as I said, this is a knitting podcast. So let's go ahead and talk about knitting besides the knitting that I'm wearing. Have a couple of FOs to show you. Firstly, I finished a pair of socks for Ron. This yarn is Opal Sunrise. I don't have the tag anymore, unfortunately, so I can't tell you the colorway name or number because Opal doesn't often give them names. But all the information is on my project page in Ravelry. I am Christy-Lael on Ravelry, and that is down below. Yeah, this is a pair of socks that I knit for Ron. I used my normal recipe. I did a Turkish toe cast on, toe up, fish lips kiss heel, ended with 1x1 ribbing, and Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. I normally do 12 rows of 1x1 ribbing for my socks, but for Ron's I do 15 rows, and I really like how they turned out. You might notice that I started kind of polar opposite, whereas this one started with the transition into the blue, and this one was the transition into the orange. I did that because I knew it was going to be really hard to make sure, that these matched, and that way I didn't have to really worry about them matching. And yeah, I think they turned out great. So that is another pair for Ron. He's been wearing his socks a lot as well lately because we only basically leave the house, like I said, maybe once a week to go to the grocery store. And then the only other time that anybody leaves the house is to walk the dog. So yeah, we're spending a lot of time without our shoes on, which is good, which is fine. I mean, neither good nor bad. The dog is really enjoying all the walks. I also finished a pair of socks for myself, a Christmas pair of socks. If you recall, I'm knitting 31 pairs of Christmas socks for myself to wear every day in December. I don't think that I will have them all done by this December 1st, but that is mainly because I tend to get bored when knitting something the same over and over again, and so while I'm really enjoying knitting the Christmas socks, I know that I would get tired of knitting socks that are green and red. But also because I only have enough yarn currently to knit like 17 pairs of Christmas socks. So that's what I've got. But I know that come fall again, Indie Dyers will start carrying Christmas colorways again, and I will be able to pick up some more and finish that out for next December. Anyway, this again is with my regular recipe, Turkish toe cast on, fish lips kiss heel, 1x1 ribbing, Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And this yarn is Leading Man Fiber Arts in the Showstopper colorway. The Showstopper base. The colorway is Oh Christmas Tree. And I gotta say, I absolutely love whatever base the Showstopper is. The Intermission is the same base as Showstopper, but it is 50 grams. And I have made now, like 5 pairs of socks out of this base. It's very, very pleasant to knit with. I believe it is very similar to the base that Mustache Yarn uses for their yarn. So just letting you know, I really like it. It's plump and even and soft and pleasant to knit with, and I think it makes nice looking socks. So I really like this colorway as well. This is a nice Christmas colorway. Yeah, enjoying knitting these Christmas socks. This is pair number 10. So if you can do math, then you know that means that I have 7 skeins left. And I have taken it upon myself to wind up some of those skeins. Unfortunately, I don't have a spot here where I can wind where I can leave my winding stuff out, my Swift and my ball winder. And so I have to kind of take it out and then put it back. And so I try to wind up things all at once, or, several things at once, so that I don't have to get it out all that often. So I have, for my next pair of Christmas socks, I haven't started them, but it will be out of this yarn. This is the Creative Obsession in her Slothmas colorway. I'm really excited about this. This also came with a mini in this pretty green color, but I have decided that I'm going to save that mini for the sock tubes that I get wound by Appley, or not wound, but cranked by Appley Juice every so often. I have some, and I've kind of run out of solid minis with which to make heels, toes, and cuffs on those. So I'm going to save that for those and just knit this straight so it'll be one color like these. So that is the next pair that I'm going to start, and then I also wound the Mustache Yarns Elfed, which is 250-gram skeins. One is going to be solid green with a red and white striped heel and toe, and then the other, the polar opposite. Red, white striped main sock and a green heel and toe. So yeah, looking forward to knitting both of those. And hopefully I'll get them going before quarantine is over. We're supposed to be inside for another, well, until April 30th. So, still got several more weeks, and who knows what happens after that. They may extend it. They have officially said that my kids aren't going back to the school building for the rest of the school year. They're doing remote learning, which is great. But they're not going to have the school opened again until next year. So there's that. My office has said that we're working from home indefinitely until something changes and we can go back to work safely, which is fine. I'm very fortunate that I have a job where I can do that. But yeah, so I may get more socks knit before quarantine is over. I'm still working full time, so I don't get all the knitting time. But I'm still able to knit a decent amount in the evening. So yeah, it kind of just depends on what I'm excited about at that moment. Another FO I have is just this little Yoda hat. Look at how cute it is. So this is knit for a friend of mine who has a new grandbaby, and asked if I could knit a Yoda and a Princess Leia hat. I found the pattern for each as a pattern book, and so I went ahead and bought both, and yeah, this was super fun to knit. Such a cute little thing. I don't have anything to model it on, unfortunately. It's too small for my Fred the Head, but I think it's adorable, and it was really easy to knit. The only thing that kind of was a pain was that you knit the ears separately and then you had to sew them on, but that wasn't really all that hard, and the ears went quickly. Yeah, I unfortunately can't remember the yarn, can't remember the name of the designer. The information is on my project page, as I said. The yarn I know was Haiku Simplicity, I think. It's got some acrylic in it and some wool and some nylon, I think. It's very soft, and it works out well. I basically just looked for something. It's a DK weight yarn. Basically just walked through my yarn shop looking for a DK that that was the right color, the right shade of green, and so this is what I grabbed. I didn't have any preferences on the yarn. I just needed it to be the right color of green. So yeah, that is done. I also am knitting a Princess Leia hat. I showed you the hat a while back. I think in my last podcast I had the whole hat done, but I haven't done the cinnamon bun braid thingies, and that's just simply because it's I-cord, a bunch of I-cord, and I'm just not never get excited about knitting I-cord. So since we can't send it, I can't give it to them anyway until this is all over, I figure I'll knit the I-cord when I feel like it. And then I have one more finished object, and I am so stinking glad that this thing is done. I finished my Tega sweater. Oh, it's not buttoned up. I thought it was buttoned up. I wore it the day that I finished it, the day that I took FO shots. I wore it because it was chilly that day. In fact, that was the morning we took the dog for a walk, and I wore it for that, and we took some shots while I was walking the dog, and then that afternoon or that evening it snowed quite a lot, so I was able to wear it then. That is about all that I've worn it, because it is a very heavy sweater, and you really need it to be cold, but at least I got to wear it. Here it is, all done. I'm so glad it's over. And I knew once I sat down, I would get that second sleeve done, and it would be all done, and everything would be great. And I mean, I did. I finally sat myself down, and I was like, I'm not getting up until the sleeve is done. And I finished it that day. But it just wasn't enjoyable. It hurts my hands to knit with the super bulky. It hurts the big needles, and it hurts my neck and shoulders. Like I would knit it for a couple of hours, and I'd have to take some aspirin because it just made my shoulders and neck ache, and there was no way around that. So I need to remind myself that super bulky is not my friend. While I have nothing against this pattern, the heavyweight yarn just doesn't really work well with me. And I had to just recently remind myself of that, because the yarn shop, every month they have this table that's right inside the front door, and they change the color theme depending on the month, and so they just released their April color theme. The shop is still open, although it's open very few hours a day, but yeah, so they posted, I haven't been there in a month, but they posted a picture on Instagram of what the table looks like, and they had some really pretty yarn. I was like, ooh, maybe I'll just order that. And I was like, nope, that's super bulky, Christy. You don't want super bulky anymore. So anyway, I didn't order it, but I ordered other things, but I didn't order that. Anyway, this is done. This is the Tega sweater, and it's great to wear in the winter. It's warm. I will say that this, and you guys have been looking at pictures, I still don't like the way the neck is hitting me. I found that when I'm wearing it, it's better to have this top button unbuttoned, but it is done, and that was the important thing, and now I can move on to another sweater and not have this hanging over my head. This is Hayfield yarn, which was like an 80-20 wool acrylic mix, and I think it was 80% acrylic and 20% wool. It's not unpleasant yarn, but yeah, I'm just the super bulky doesn't work for me, but it's done. I don't ever have to knit on it again. And that is all that I have finished, and I really honestly only have one whip. I mean, except for the Princess Leia hat, but I haven't changed anything on that, and so I'm not going to show it to you because it just looks like a brown hat. Oh, and of course my hibernation blanket, which I haven't touched in ages and ages either, because that's crochet, and I don't want to crochet right now. Nope, the other whip that I have is the tasting menu shawl, which was a mystery knit along by Telly Bean Knits. It's something that she ran as a mystery knit along in January. I did not start it in January, I started it in February. Still working on it. But here is what I've got so far. It starts out as a regular triangle shawl, and then you split right here, and half of it goes down this way, and half of it goes down this way. And the pattern is written so that you do a section on the left side, and then you go back and do the same section on the right side. But I have decided to just do one side and get it done, and then go back and do the other. So I am almost finished with the one side, the first side. And I think it looks amazing. I'm very, very pleased with how it has turned out. This was meant to be knit out of 9 different minis and then 1 main full skein. So you can see my minis started with the pink to reddish, and then this section right here is the main skein. These minis, by the way, are Bigfoot Fibers. It's 2 of her mini sets, Mother's Day and Vintage Christmas, I believe. And then this main color is Hue Loco in saltwater taffy. Just saltwater, no taffy. And then here are the minis number 4, 5, and 6. And yeah, I've got a couple more rows here to do at the bottom, and then I will be done with this side. The minis on the other side are these 3. Starting, this is 7, 8, and then 9. So yeah, hopefully I will be done with this pretty soon. I will definitely podcast when it, oops, that's the wrong side. No, that's the right side, sorry. I will definitely podcast when it's all done and blocked, and I have some good shots of it, but I'm really enjoying it. It's very pleasant to knit. Because you're changing colors fairly often, it keeps it interesting. It changes stitch every couple of rows, and so you never really get bored. The only downfall, I guess, is that you have to weave in a bunch of ends, but it's not that bad. So yeah, that is literally the only thing I have on the needles right now. I just finished these socks the other day, and I've been focusing on that shawl, trying to get that done. I do have some sweaters that I'm planning on knitting. I do have some more socks that I'm planning on knitting. I do want to knit some more shawls, but I don't have one in the works right now. I'm just kind of knitting whatever I feel like knitting at the time. That's basically how I'm kind of going through life. And once the work day's done, I just pick up whatever's interesting, and that's working out well. I have been trying to support small businesses as much as possible. With us being all stuck at home, these small businesses are suffering. So Ron and I are trying to eat out or order delivery, something healthy, of course, because we're still doing our, still working on living mindfully or deliberately. But we are, you know, trying to support small restaurants that are local. We've got a microbrewery that is just down the street, and so we walked the dog this morning and went and picked up some drinks from them so that we could support them as well. And I've been trying to support some indie dyers and my local yarn shop. So today I called in an order to my local yarn shop, and those yarns will be available for me to pick up when I can. And then I've also made some orders from LYS's. One of them is Mustache Yarns. I got this just came in the mail today. It is Jelly Belly. and it's adorable. I love these Easter colors. I have also made an order from Lady Men Fiber Arts, but it hasn't come yet. It should be here probably Monday, so I'll have to tell you guys about that one next time. And yeah, that's about it. I want y'all to know that I'm thinking about you, keeping everybody in my prayers. I'm hoping that you all are staying safe and healthy, and showing your loved ones love. Just remember that this is just a season. Hopefully, we'll come out of this strong and safe. And yeah. I don't have any really wise words. I wish I did. I wish I could just say the things that ease fears and doubts, but if I could do that, then I probably wouldn't suffer from anxiety. Anyway, God bless you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy knitting.